My oldest son started sleepwalking when he was about 8 or 9. I'd heard that some kids go through phases like that, so I wasn't too worried at first. It was unsettling, sure, but I didn't think much of it. I'm a pretty light sleeper, so none of my kids could ever sneak around the house at night without me noticing. That's actually how I first discovered my son sleepwalking. Most nights, I'd wake up and find him standing in the hallway outside my bedroom, rocking slightly on his heels, shifting his weight from one foot to the other. His eyes would be open, but they weren't really seeing anything. That was the part that always got to me. Anyone who's ever lived with a sleepwalker knows what I mean. His gaze would pass right through me, empty and distant, like he was looking past me into something I couldn't see. It was always so strange, and I never got used to it. Sometimes he'd mumble under his breath, soft, slurred words I couldn't make out. Other times he'd just stand there, breathing slowly and steadily, which somehow made it even creepier. I'd gently guide him back to bed, whispering his name and telling him everything was fine. He never remembered any of it in the morning. A few months after realizing he was a sleepwalker, things escalated. One night, I woke up to a soft, rhythmic tapping sound. It reminded me of water dripping onto a window pane, except it wasn't raining. The sound was faint, just loud enough to wake me. At first, I thought it was part of a dream, some distant noise my asleep brain had twisted into something else. But the sound kept going, steady and deliberate. It wasn't random like rain. It came in perfect intervals, always the same volume. I listened carefully, trying to figure out what it could be. It wasn't the house settling or the wind outside. It was too precise. When I realized it wasn't going to stop, I sighed and sat up, looking toward the door where it seemed to be coming from. My husband was still fast asleep, and I didn't want to wake him. I wasn't really scared, just curious. If I'd been scared, I probably would have woken him anyway. I got out of bed and stepped into the hallway. That's when I saw him, my son, facing the wall, his forehead lightly tapping against it in slow, steady beats. His fingertips brushed the wall in rhythm with the tapping, as if he was trying to feel his way through it. I called his name quietly, barely above a whisper. He didn't respond. He just kept pressing his head forward, knocking against the wall like he was testing it, like he was trying to push through it. I moved closer, and right before I reached out, something about the way he was moving sent a cold chill through me. I gently placed my hand on his shoulder and gave him a small shake, just enough to break whatever trance he was in. He blinked, stepped back, and let me lead him back to bed as if nothing had happened. He didn't mention it in the morning. It happened a few more times after that, but not often. Honestly, I just assumed it was another strange quirk of sleepwalking, maybe some kind of subconscious reaction to the wall, something his dreaming mind hadn't accounted for. Eventually, he outgrew it. The sleepwalking stopped, and those eerie nights became just another weird memory I barely thought about anymore. At least until years later, when my younger son started doing the exact same thing. At first, I brushed it off. Kids go through phases, and sometimes siblings pick up similar habits. It felt strange that both of them started sleepwalking around the same age, but I didn't think too much of it. Genetics can be weird like that. Still, after a while, I started noticing the small details, the ones that made me feel that same creeping sense of concern. It wasn't just that he was sleepwalking. It was how he did it. He would stand in the hallway, shifting from foot to foot, his eyes open but unfocused. He moved the same way my older son used to, with that slow, eerie rhythm that didn't feel entirely random. It was unsettling, like watching an old memory play out in real time. But it got worse. One night, I woke up to that same faint tapping sound. Before I even stepped into the hallway, I already knew what I'd see, and I was right. There he was, standing in front of the wall, his forehead pressed against it, gently knocking at the exact same spot his brother used to. The sound was identical, steady and deliberate. His fingertips brushed the wall in sync with each tap, like he was trying to step into something that wasn't really there. I called his name, no response. I touched his shoulder, nothing. He just kept knocking, his small body swaying slightly, lost somewhere I couldn't reach. That's when it hit me, he had never seen his older brother sleepwalk. His brother hadn't done this in years. There was no reason for him to mimic the exact same movements. Not just the wandering, but the standing in that same spot, the tapping, the strange, misplaced urgency of it all. I don't know why, but that realization made my stomach twist. After a few tries, I managed to shake him out of it. He blinked a few times and I led him back to bed, tucking him in just like I had with his brother years before. I tried convincing myself it was nothing, just another one of those weird sleepwalking things kids do. And eventually, just like his brother, he outgrew it. No more wandering, no more tapping. He never remembered any of it. For years, I didn't think about it. Honestly, I had forgotten the whole thing. But there's a reason I'm writing this now. Both my sons are away at college, and the house feels quieter than I'm used to. My husband and I decided to fill the time with some small home projects. A few weeks ago, we started renovating, new floors, new paint, just freshening things up. The house is old, so it felt like it was time. While stripping the old wallpaper in one of the hallways, we noticed something underneath. At first, I thought it was just backing material or maybe some old stain. But as we peeled more away, I froze. Beneath the paper was an antique-style mirror, large, dusty, and hidden behind layers of wallpaper. My first thought was, why would anyone cover a mirror instead of removing it? I stood there, staring at it, feeling ridiculous for being so uneasy. But something about it felt wrong, like it wasn't meant to be found, as if it had been deliberately sealed away. And then I realized the mirror was positioned in the exact same spot on the wall where both my sons used to knock their foreheads. The memories came rushing back all at once. There was no way they could have known it was there. It had been covered long before either of them were born. They couldn't have seen it, and yet somehow, both of them had tried to walk into that same place, into something invisible behind the wall. I didn't hesitate. I got rid of that mirror immediately. But even now, I can't shake the feeling that something about it was deeply wrong. There's got to be a rational explanation for all of this, but for the life of me, I can't think of one. I still don't know what to make of it. I really don't.